Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and talk to you today. If you could see what I see, what a beautiful audience. It's just so amazing. What I'd like to do today is talk to you a little bit about being fearless in tech. And so you may be wondering, or you may be thinking, what is it to be fearless? And you may have some outdated notions that in order to be fearless, you have to have extreme bravery, or perhaps that you're doing risk-taking with sort of reckless abandon. And what I'm here to tell you today is this is what fearless looks like. So let's talk a little bit about some of the attributes of what it takes to be fearless in tech. So being fearless means that you're willing to take on new opportunities, that you're willing to be the first in your academic department, the first in your business environment, maybe the first leader of a group, but being willing to pioneer what hasn't been led by a female before. It also means being open and willing to go into innovative new fields. Again, areas that maybe haven't been explored before. It means the ability to share your voice, share your ideas, being fearless about it. And lastly, you have to have the interest and the ability to reframe failure. Reframe failure as an opportunity to learn something new. Because many of us become frozen, paralyzed, that we might fail, and we skip that opportunity. So if you have these attributes, then you're fearless. Let me share a personal example. So as mentioned, I've been in the field of tech for many, many years, and I started in semiconductor processing. So what I'm showing you here is a silicon wafer. And if you look at the squares, each of those squares is a die or a device. And the area between it is where a wafer saw cuts through the wafer, then you pick out the die, you put it in a package, and that becomes a unit that you sell. So about 25 years ago, I was working in an area where the design basically specified that you had to round up to the nearest whole integer. So if your design was 380.1, you had to round up to 381 mils. And I thought, what a waste. Why do you need to round up to whole integers? And so I asked somebody, and they basically said, because that's what the spec says. Okay, so I dug in a little bit deeper and tried to find the origin of it. And basically, the original engineers were afraid that the technicians who did the wafer saw operation did not understand the decimal point. And if they programmed the equipment incorrectly, they would mis-saw the wafer and destroy the product. So I thought, why don't we teach the technicians about decimal point? So we took the team overseas, we taught a little tutorial, and very enthusiastically, the technicians embraced the concept of the decimal point. We changed the spec, and in the first year, we saw increased revenue in my company of $100 million because we got more dye onto a wafer, because we were able to tape out designs to hundredths of a mil. A very simple change, just by asking questions, training people, sharing what does it take to do this. A very simple example of how one can be fearless in tech. Now, the responsibility to be fearless should not rest solely on the shoulders of women. Organizations can be fearless too. Organizations need to lean in and make sure they support. I've been very fortunate to be at Intel Corporation for more than 3 decades. And Intel has been fearless in terms of going after creating a level playing field where everyone can compete, where there's opportunities for everyone to succeed. And there's a lot of companies here represented today that are also on this journey. At Intel, especially here in Poland, we're very fortunate in that we have strong support from the site. And let me describe a little bit about some of the key milestones that we've observed here in Poland. So in 2015, we started a program for scholarships. And I believe some of our scholarship alumni are here in the audience. So we started with 25 scholarships. And every year since then, we've been giving additional scholarships. So a total of 120 alumni have now graduated from the program. And with the scholarship comes the opportunity to receive an internship and receive mentorship. So there's a lot of support behind this. The next data point here, 600, represents the number of women who have completed a boot camp opportunity. And when we started this, we did it in partnership with Ericsson. And since then, we're partnering with IT for She to continue these boot camps. So far, 600 women have participated. The next data point is a way to carry forward. So a lot of the female graduates of the boot camps are now volunteering to teach IT workshops with students. And so altogether, there are about 6,000 students that have completed these IT workshops. And again, it's a great way for the female participants of the boot camp to carry that learning forward. The next data point is just highlighting an award that we received because of the programs that we have here in Poland. And finally, we've been a partner of this event, this symposia, for a couple of years. And I think that number is outdated because clearly we have more than 2,500 women here today. So if you start from the very beginning in 2015, we're impacting about 20 females with our scholarship program. And if you follow the timeline, now we've impacted more than 10,000 people. So this is an example of how a company can be fearless and engage and support more women in tech. Now, being fearless also means willing to embrace innovation. So here in Gdańsk, not too far from here, we employ over 3,000 engineers, and we're involved in different aspects of technology, but very specifically, and I think we heard the mayor of Warsaw say this today, new areas like autonomous driving, artificial intelligence, 5G networking. These areas are areas that are actually developing here in Poland. And so working for a company that fully embraces innovation, knowing that some of the work that we do may be successful and some of it will be further learning. So you may be asking yourself, how can I practice being more fearless in tech? First, raise your hand and take on those challenges. When an opportunity comes where there's a big challenge at your company or in school, raise your hand because you'll get tremendous learning from that opportunity. Don't shy away from it. As I mentioned before, in your mind, reframe failure as an opportunity to get learning. One of my friends says, I'm either succeeding or I'm learning. She never uses the word failure. Be generous. Bring others along. Share your ideas. Mentor others. Teach. You will not be diminished. Your technical capacity will not be diminished by you sharing with others and bringing others along. And this one is probably the one that I struggle with the most, because even though I've been in tech for many years, I too sometimes suffer from the imposter syndrome, where I wonder, am I the right person to take on this challenge? Am I the best leader I can be? And so sometimes just showing up is being fearless, just speaking up. And sometimes doing this and being your authentic self, that is truly being fearless. So today, my wish for you, for all of you, is to go out and be fearless in tech. Thank you very much.